Hello everyone. Let's talk about dashboards. The DevExpress dashboard tool allows to create many combinations of data presentations. We're going to make a series of videos starting with how to connect the data, how to make quick presentations. We're going to know each of these subjects. Today, we're going to start with the first video, showing basically all the environment of this tool. I also want to tell you that there is a web version. We will also see the web designer so that you have an idea of how to navigate in one and another tool, okay? Well, the first thing that you will find in this tool is basically all the controls that it has to visualize data that you will be able to see here in the tab of the home page. Okay? The first thing I want to show you after seeing that this tool has this home page and that here it has all these controls, the next tab is the data source. What is the data source? Well, it's the source from which you are going to get information that you're going to present in the dashboard. And here are several options to deal with the subject of the data source. The last visible tab when you don't have dashboard is the view. Here you can change the appearance of the presentation. For example, there are people who like the dark mode, who like to see the tool in these ways to focus on the information and not on the screen. Many people also say that it's good for working at night so that the brightness doesn't hurt. Well, it's up to each user, okay? So right now we're going to stay in the normal mode, and here you can change to a lot of colors, presentations, etc. Right? Okay, after this part, we're going to talk about the data source. Without the data source, without information, we don't have a dashboard, right? Therefore, this is the first part that we're going to talk about. I'm going to show you here how to connect to different data sources. So the first things I'm going to show you is how to connect it, and then in different videos we're going to see different data sources, database, SQL Server, Postgre, MySQL. Then we will also see how to connect to an Excel, an XML file, a JSON, a vast number of data sources. Now basically I'm going to show you how this works. The first things it tells us is that we put the name of the database. By default it comes out a data source, and you can put here, for example, I don't know, employees, or the data to which you are going to connect. For when the sources appear here on the screen, you'll know where it comes from. And another interesting thing that this tool has is the immensity of the data sources. We're going to treat each of them, but we're going to start with database so that you see the diversity, okay? And then we're returning to see each of the following. So if I give it next, and it asks me if I want to use a local connection or would I like to make one myself. In this case, I will make one myself. Note a lot of numbers of databases. Here I started with SQL Server, Access, Oracle, Google BigQuery, IBM DB2, SIP, to SQLite, XML files, and what we call a custom connection string, which would be a connection to a very particular database. Okay? Notice that here, to connect to the database, basically you have to know where the database is located, the IP or name, the address, and what the authentication model are you going to use. If you are going to use user authentication or Windows authentication or from the machine. Then I'm going to do a test. Here I'm going to connect to the local server and I'm going to put a user. And here notice that since I put a user, he automatically connects to the database engine and all the databases that I have available appear. And then I'm going to select the database. For example, this one of the MBA. And it said if I want to save the password. This is a topic that has been discussed many times. What does it mean? That in the XML files that are generated, the password is saved at the end. This is in security matter is not good, right? But depending on the use that you're going to give it, taking into account that you want to see, want this dashboard to be open in a viewer, and they don't have to request user and password. This is a part that you should be discussed, okay? And here, after doing this, we build our connection string or make a query, okay? Note that DevExpress have a query builder tool that we're going to spend some time on. But today, basically, what we're going to do is select something so that you can finally see what the result of this is. Notice that connection I made to the MBA database, I can see all the tables that database has. I have views here, tables, everything that is inside it. I have it here, okay? I can also tell you that it allowed me to do an SQL, so I can write the comments so the data comes the way I write. Or simply, if I drag here, for example, I drag the team and tell it that to this team I want to drag the players. Notice that if there are relationships, the relationships are already connected. I can select some fields from here, some fields for there. Basically, I can make a preview of the data or the databases. And here in this preview, I can also filter, do a series of things that little by little we will see in the videos, okay? And basically, after we have selected our database with our themes, we accept it and we give it to finish. Note that here I already have the information. I can start and making a dashboard, which is what we would like immediately, but of course it must be step by step. But if I suddenly put a pie here and I say that I want the name of the equipment here in the argument, and suddenly I want the same thing name here in the values to make an account, and I basically already have here a count of how many times that the team appeared in the data that I have. See you in the next video.